Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to COASTER-net Updates. We've got some breaking news out of Staffordshire, England tonight, where finally Alton Towers has confirmed that Wicker will indeed be their new GCI wood coaster in 2018. Now, should be really no surprise to anyone. This has been the rumor of the name that they, when Danny, when you were there, they were already building this ride. You said it was almost completely done. So there's not a whole lot of surprise here, but now we have the official confirmation of Wicker, and we got a little backstory on this ride here as well. So Danny, what are some of your initial thoughts from what you already saw at Alton back in October and now what you see tonight?
Yeah, I think this ride is definitely, it's not one of the larger GCIs. It's certainly smaller in stature, partially because of the restrictions that Alton has with their height restriction. But it does go down into the valley. The little hole that they've dug there, similar to what rides like Oblivion and Smiler and Nemesis and Galactica, all those rides do. It's kind of a signature of Alton Towers. And it does go down into, there is a pretty significant height difference from the top of the hill to the lowest point of the ride, which is later on in the ride. A long time back, you and I actually did a little bit of analysis of the blueprints, and based on the numbers that we saw in those blueprints, I put together a little spreadsheet to figure out the heights relative to each other. And even though I think they said it's like a 54-foot height, I think is the actual height on this. If I went to the website here.
So the main thing that they're talking, well, I don't know about 50, I know 57.5 is the height of the Wicker this statue that they're building. So it says the structure stands at 57.5. But it implies that there's going to be this huge centerpiece in the middle of it, this Wicker thing that's going to burst into flames at different points of the ride. So
we did see that on the blueprints. We saw that they had two different buildings labeled, one of which seemed to be this Wicker structure that they're talking about. And my calculations when we went through those blueprints showed that it was like maybe about a 50-foot height or so in that range, but that the height difference between the highest and lowest points of the ride was in the 85-foot range, and that occurs later in the ride. So it's one of those rides that seems to be going down as the ride progresses. So if that's an indication, then maybe you're picking up speed as the ride goes on as well. So that would be a good thing, even though it's a ride of smaller size. It kind of reminds me, just from looking at it when we were there, it reminds me a lot of Invader at Busch Gardens Williamsburg, but it seems like the theming is going to be better because Invader, once you get outside of the station and the entrance area, is kind of devoid of theming throughout the ride unless you're in the immediate entry plaza or the station area. This looks like it's going to be themed very well, as we've come to expect from the different Alton Towers rides. And it looks like it might have a bit more of a thrill factor to it.
Yeah, so the strange part is that we were not given a POV here, even a CGI version of a POV. They seem to, in true Alton fashion, focus more on this story, and I think that's really, I think, what they're trying to highlight here. They're saying that this is the first wood coaster to blend wood and fire together, and
it doesn't sound like a good idea, does it?
Doesn't sound like a good idea, but it might be really cool, depending on the end result of this. So they're really focusing on this story. The story basically is that all the videos point to these almost Scottish-sounding earth druids that live outside the park that have now come together and they're trying to do something inside of Alton. All the Alton rides just seem to have some crazy stories attached to them. Like, there's not a single normal story attached to them.
No, I mean, let's think about it here. I mean, Nemesis is the story about this alien-like creature that found its way to Alton Towers and buried itself underground, never to be disturbed again, and then they disturbed it in the Forbidden Valley. Yeah. And then you have Smiler, which is supposed to be this hypnotizing corrective type of machine. You have Oblivion, which is supposed to be like, if you watch the Q video for Oblivion, it's like 11 minutes long, and it's like how you're going through this experimental testing. And then 13, the whole journey to an ancient crypt and all this nonsense. I mean, there's some incredibly unique and incredibly detailed stories behind each of the Alton attractions, at least the Secret Weapon attractions. This of course being Secret Weapon 8. So it's really nice to see that. Yeah, we're putting together a good story, but it looks like they're going to be putting together a pretty nice ride for us based on, all the things that I saw while I was over there. I took lots of pictures as well. So maybe we'll get a few of those up here in this video, maybe. But it's looks like it's going to be a good addition. Kind of in the realm of. People talked about Europa Park for years and how they had such a great collection of rides and attractions, but they were missing the signature wood coaster. And for many years, that's been one of the complaints about Alton Towers is they've got such a great roller coaster collection, such a great park, but they're missing a wood coaster. Yeah. And now they're getting it. So, and this is the first new wood coaster, I think, in the UK in over 20 years, I think is we read somewhere in the post. So, that's something exciting for the folks in the UK as well.
Absolutely. So, as always, we will keep you updated on all the latest news. It seems all we're doing lately is news from England.
Yeah, what's going on? Like England, all of a sudden, in the first week of January, just wants to jump on everything and announce all this crazy stuff.
So, as always, we'll keep
the wood coasters giveth and the wood coasters taketh away this weekend.
Seems like that, right? We'll keep you updated on all that's going on here during the off season. And as always, right on, Ride Warriors.
See you guys.